Let's go! The Cartoon Guide to Genetics. The third part. Now, mutations and dominance. Mutants, dominant recessive traits. Let's get this go ahead with. Now, mutations and dominance themselves are actually pretty darn good things for the world. You say, hey, mutants are bad. Do you want a mutant cat? Depends on what the mutation is. Well, then what do you want a mutation for? Do you want a cat who can shoot laser eyes? Actually, yeah, that would actually be cool. But to be honest, the bad thing that people actually think about mutants are the monsters that they create. Whenever we think about mutants, some people most likely think of, like, X-Men, the X-Men, shing, Cyclops, B, those kinds of things. However, those aren't the actual mutants in real life. Mutants themselves are actually biological. They're not, like, related to radioactivity or something, some sort of that kind of sort. No. You're very far off. Also, you're close. You're very far off. The thing is, mutants themselves are just, as the definition in comics go, a person who's different from other people because of DNA. Yeah, apparently you got a little mutation in your DNA, and that's what makes you different from others. Now, the thing about this, however, the way the comics actually make you think about mutants is that they think that they're big, and if you become like a mutant, then you just go ahead and you turn into, like, I don't know, a zombie or whatever. But that's not what the actual real thing is. The thing is, mutants and dominants, they actually all come from the same source. By the same source, I basically mean they're all just different DNA kinds of people. But let me explain in a more variable and more understanding way. Now, mutants themselves are not bad. In fact, sometimes they're good. However, it's more likely that you would probably create a very bad mutation than you create a more good one. Like, a cat having laser eyes would be cool. It could just fry its own food up and cook it so that it's healthy and it lives longer than real, best of the wild cats. And probably also kill wild cats, so it becomes the king of the cats. Even stronger than a lion. Like a house cat having laser eyes, it could beat up a lion by just frying it with laser eyes. Ouch! But it would win, and it would become the king of all cats, and possibly all of humanity too, if we could understand it. And luckily, it won't kill me. I'm its owner. I'm its owner, and I love him. Anyways, the next thing that actually comes from the mutants is that chromosomes and genes also have a point in this too. Now, they actually have some traits. Chromosomes themselves have traits. Remember, for the X's and the Y's of the chromosomes, there are also other things too, recessive and dominant genes. Like, there are special things of genes. Some genes make you look short, others make you tall naturally. However, sometimes it's like it depends on if it's dominant or recessive. Usually, a lowercase is done for the recessive, and uppercase is used for the dominant. And also, most of the time, the dominant gene is the one that's more common. However, sometimes it also has a little recessive gene, like brown eyes and blue eyes. They're actually determined by what kind of gene you have. If you have a dominant gene, that makes you have brown eyes. However, if you have a recessive, both your genes are recessive, then you'll have blue eyes. Like, you need two kinds of genes. You get two from your mom, you get two from your dad. Like, one from your mom, you get one from your dad. And so it's gotta be one of them. Like, if you could get a dominant gene, the brown eye gene, or you could get the blue eye gene. Most of the time, people actually get the brown eye gene. Sometimes there are blue eye genes, and I know a few people who has the blue eye gene. But the only way you can get the blue eye gene is you have two blue eye genes. There are more ways to get the brown eye gene. You have two brown eye genes, or you have one brown eye gene and one blue eye gene. You just need one to get a brown eye gene, but you need two to get a blue eye gene, making the blue eye gene a bit more rarer than the brown eye gene, to be honest. And that actually kind of makes a lot of sense, to be honest. Next thing that I'm going to have to talk about is how all this can actually be used in the Cartoon Guide to Genetics, and how he can actually use his genetics. In fact, if you've heard about this guy, Gregor Mendel, you'll probably know that he's the monk who tried to play God. I'm God of the plants! And it actually worked out pretty good. He was actually able to figure out that white genes, like purple genes are not dominant, white genes are. He also figured out that tall genes are dominant and not the short genes. And if you crossbreed mutants where they have one tall gene and one short gene, then you'll go ahead and probably get yourself the possibility of having roughly 75% of them having tall genes, and 25% of them having the shorter gene. Also, Gregor Mendel actually thought that it would be like a 50-50 chance of having a tall or a short gene, or like a 25% chance of each happening, like you have the wimp, and you have the wimp, you have the wimp, and you have the wimp, and then you also have the bully, then you have the bully, but then you receive the wimp, or you have the bully and you also receive the bully. Yeah, by the wimp, I mean the recessive gene, and by the bully, I mean the dominant gene. So those are actually 4 combinations, but instead, there's actually a 40% chance of the bully receiving the wimp, and a 48% chance. Oh, wait, let me reread this. Let me give you another example. There's like a short and a tall gene, and there's a half of a chance. Mental himself actually thought that you get a 50-50 split of having possibilities of a smooth and a tall, and a smooth and a short, or do you have and the rest of the 50 being hairy and the tall, and hairy and the short, or do you actually have a 4-way split? In fact, it's actually none of those. It seems that neither prediction is actually correct. All 4 types of smooth and tall genes, like plants, smooth and tall plants, or hairy and tall plants, or smooth and dwarf plants, or hairy and dwarf plants. There's those kinds of types. But apparently, instead of like a 50-50 chance or a 4-way equal split of 25 percentages, this happened. There's actually a 48% chance of having a smooth tall, a 2% chance of having a hairy tall. There's also 2% chance of having a smooth dwarf, and a 48% chance of having a hairy dwarf. Actually, Gregor Mendel will probably be surprised by all this, and also he can't take the disappointment. After all, he's dead. Anyways, I'm not gonna talk dirty. So here we go. Mutations and dominance. So there you have it. Mutations are pretty useful, and most of the time, it's pretty rare. It's when genes get copying errors, or when things interbreed in ways that they shouldn't. At least according to nature's terms. So that's about it, and that's how one man, Gregor Mendel, playing God, went ahead and found all this out. So hopefully you guys actually enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys really did enjoy this episode. I hope to see you guys soon. Until next time, Shannon out, peace. And always, remember kids, wear a helmet. Bye-bye!